Wow, here we are. Another day of wind, reel, and print. Another week, I'd say, of wind, reel, and print.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
What's your name?
This is your co-host, Kevin. Here today with
Ryan. I've been called that by many, so I think I'll go with that today.
Great. Ryan, welcome on. Thanks.
Thank you. I really need to have you start episodes more often. I feel like this is too good.
Yeah, it's just so great, crazy. I mean, we've been kind of talking before. I'm trying to like segue into this thing.
Sure. That's a big problem.
Yeah, like we're here in the Bay Area talking about Bay Area movies. Good
to be back. Talking about Bay Area movies.
Been a while. You know, we've seen a lot of crazy stuff, but I don't think we've seen anything quite as crazy as what we watched here today for y'all.
I will say the only thing that comes close in like crazy levels is Pink Flamingo.
Okay. Sure.
You know, in terms of like obviously going in very different directions with it. But I'm looking at something here for this, like calling this like a grade Z monster flick. Like that actually feels like even like that, like John Waters made like grade Z, maybe a little higher than that for sure, but has that kind of air about it. But yeah, so yeah, that's what I would say is
because it is. This is a big topic for us. I don't know. I'm hyping this shit up. This is a locally made, really, really independent movie from the 1970s. Kind of made in the style of a Roger Corman B movie, like monster flick. Aptly named The Milpitas Monster. Made by a group of high school students, I think, right? Or something.
I believe so. That from everything I've seen, yeah, which is crazy.
And so what you get is something that is obviously a student film, right? Like the sound isn't great. The editing is so crazy. The lighting like doesn't match from shot to shot.
It's like all ADR. Yeah. Like so much of it is ADR.
Like the lips aren't moving when the people are speaking. So like there's that kind of experience of watching this movie. But at the same time, this is a big fucking project. Like they're doing so much with this thing. Like a monster. They're comping in monster stuff, like effects. They incorporating the entire town of Milpitas into this movie, like making the whole thing and like acting in it and everything. It's pretty incredible, like what they're able to pull off. I feel like at the same time,
I was blown away by like the even though you can watch it and be like, this is trash.
Sucks, like objectively,
objectively, it is poorly made. But when you put it in perspective, and this is why, like I was like, you know what would be a great double feature is this, and It Was Just an Accident, which is the Iranian film. Which also I watched that just last night, and I was thinking like, as I was watching that, I was very much thinking of The Form and thinking of like, oh wow, they had to shoot this in secret. They had to do all these things, and you start to like kind of see it a little differently when you're kind of watching it with that kind of perspective. Watching this, knowing high schoolers made it is nuts. Because I look back at what I was making, and I was no. I mean, talk about, and then at the end you see like who they thanked in this film. It's like, I mean, 50 different businesses in Milpitas. Like this it feels like they brought everyone in town to come in and make this movie. And so in that way, it's like an astounding feat to have done it. And there are some effects that are just like, wow, they actually did some cool things. There were so many times I was like, oh my God, that's awesome. And it was very much like oh my God, you guys are so cool. Great job. You know, there's a little bit of that, sure. But I I came out like having a blast. It was a lot of fun knowing what you're kind of going into and everything like that. It is a grade Z monster flick that actually, like, at the start has like a really great, like, it has like a really famous, I forget who it is, but a very famous actor doing the voiceover who like is in a lot of Disney films and things like that, doing basically like a voiceover over stock footage that is edited.
Paul Frees. Huh?
Yes. Very famous voice actor. And so it's this classic voiceover with this classic voice and you're just like, wow. And then eventually comes in at the end too. But it was just like the quality of that was like really high. And I was like, whoa, this is going to be crazy. And then it starts to drop, then they got to hit the actual thing. But yeah, no. And then it was funny too. I laughed at some parts. Like it was very competent. Like for what it was. And so for the most part, I really enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun, and it is crazy. Like to think about it, we're coming on the 50-year anniversary of this film. 1976 was when it came out. And so that's just a crazy thing too. It's just kind of serendipitous that we're here at like the 50th anniversary of the Milpitas monster. And I think Robert L. I looked up the director, Robert L. Burrell. I'll pronounce his name like that to see what he was up to. And he now like does photography and kind of like teaches stuff too. And I think he goes and does talks and things. No mention on his website of the Milpitas monster, like even in his like bio of what he's done. So I don't know how much he relates to it or brings it out or anything like that. But he still is I believe he still is in the Bay Area.
Looks like they did a 48th annual screening in 24.
Oh, nice. Yeah, because I was like, oh my God, it'd be cool to do some 50th. Yeah. And then I even looked up, because at the end I was like, who did the restoration of it? And there's a place in the North Bay that did the restoration of the film, the newest restoration.
In like 21.
And so, it was.
Right.
Huh?
When did they do the restoration? Like 2019 or something?
Oh, that's a good question. I actually don't know when they did the restoration. It just said, I only was paying attention to who did the restoration. And they're called like some Feather Claw or something, like some bird related thing, which was funny. But it seems like it's got something. And so I kind of wanted to ask you, how the hell did you hear about this?
That's why I was laughing.
Because this is on the spreadsheet, and I was like, "What?" It's the Milpitas monster when we randomly chose it. So you got to let me know, what's the lore? How did it land in your lap?
This is why I was laughing, because I really don't remember how I found this at all.
It just has always been something you've known about. Did you talk about it growing up? Like, is it something your friends knew about?
Dude, no, I don't know. I vaguely remember like us talking about some other Bay Area movie. And I forget like what the angle was or like how it was related to this film, but the Milpitas monster was like in the Wikipedia page or was like somehow related. I vaguely remember that being a thing, or it could have been from Bay Area movies, the Instagram page. Like sometimes they post things.
Yeah, they post kind of
deep cuts. So I forget exactly. I'm a pack rat. I just like picking up things and then like storing them away somewhere, and I don't know. I don't know where it came from or how I got it, but it's there, and all of a sudden we are playing with it, and this was such a interesting thing because I feel like it does play into kind of the Bay Area spirit within filmmaking, this sort of like pick them up by your bootstraps and like do it yourself, in a very good way. In like kids like wanting to do this thing and like making an earnest like monster film, like to me that's what the Bay Area represents is like this indie spirit, indie filmmaking spirit. Like,
and it was really cool. Oh,
well,
yeah,
just like
yeah.
leveraging your community, involving everybody. Like when you look at Fruitvale Station or like Boots Riley movie, Sorry to Bother You, like that's this legacy that you're creating, you know? Yeah,
and it's cool to see the Bay Area of the 70s, because we're also talking about like a totally different kind of time too. You see the shots though and you're like, oh my god, those are the hills. Like it is so relatable, the space, but it is like a small town America that would also kind of be evident in American Graffiti, George Lucas's film. And so it has this like 50s, and so that's why it works so well in like a kaiju movie, which is like a 50s era thing, these monster movies. And so it still fits into that, but it's the 70s. And even the teenagers that are driving around in a 50s kind of car. So there is like a lot of like, it works really well with the 50s aesthetic
semiotics major
with the modern, with the 70s spin on it.
No, I think that's a great
really
point of this being like a time capsule, like inadvertently capturing what America was like during this time. And I think it is very important that it is Milpitas, right? Like that it's like the small town, middle America sort of feel. Like this is what it's just kind of shoved in between all of these other major places. It's up against the hills. It's obviously just suburbia, for the most part. And so, yeah, it's cool to see that before like the explosion that would come, basically from that point onward would be like this unbelievable explosion of stuff, in San Jose specifically and in the South Bay for sure. Cause you get the .com boom and then tech industry.
Yeah, like all of the. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know when Microsoft was founded, but it was almost certainly around this time, in kind of Mountain View or wherever they got started. I'm not sure. Something like that.
No, it's cool seeing like the architecture of the houses, like all the, design stuff. I was just like, whoa, this looks like where I grew up, before it changed into what it is now.
Yeah, that was what I was curious about, was like what it's, and I was hoping that your answer to like, hey, what's your connection to this movie would be like, oh yeah, we've always like, it was kind of like this lore about this movie that was made in Milpitas, and no, it was none of that. It is.
Well, that's in kind of like resurfacing this movie, there is a little bit of a legacy with this thing. I guess it's kind of considered a quote unquote classic in that like it's a monster movie in that it's like made in the Bay Area and like capturing this time, like it's still kind of revered in the way we're kind of talking about it now, and like has been remembered over the course of the last 50 years, because it's like doing all these things, so
this would be such a fun movie to watch in a theater with a bunch of people and just having fun, like at those midnight screenings. Like it's so, I have a lot of love for this thing. Like this should be revered by people, in this area as like a, wow, what is possible?
Yeah.
Like what you can do and what they were able to do back then is just, they really hit above their weight class, I guess is like the saying.
For sure. I mean, I really, how do I say this? When it comes to like first time filmmakers making their first movie, I really enjoy the editing that you end up getting, because a lot of times they like, they kind of know what to follow, the general rules, but in most cases there's no rules. There's nothing like no standard for them to follow. Like they're kind of just like doing whatever.
They haven't failed yet. They don't know what, they're just like, oh yeah, this is the way it's, exactly. Like you cut from this to this. To this.
You get some really interesting ideas with like how they splice things together. And I think this
Yeah.
feels like one of those kind of montage kaleidoscope type films in terms of like incorporating all these different elements and smashing them together, and it just feeling really crazy. Like the way the ADR is like so unsettling and like kind of so wild,
weird, yeah.
but it like is a thing, you know. It's like a texture that you can layer into the in an intentional way later or whatever. And then the editing with like I'm just like, is that archival footage? Like, is this like, how did they get that shot? Like, there's just so much that I'm like curious about, like how they're making this thing.
Yeah.
And then the lighting is like bad, but like interesting.
The day for night stuff was so bad. Like, it was like hard to know that they were shooting day for night, but because it was so clearly day when they're shooting, like all the stuff with the dance, like when they're outside
and there's like a giant
coming in with a drunk guy. Yeah. It's just like, Jesus, that does not look like, and I was like, okay, I do need to tell my brain it's nighttime in what I'm watching right now.
And then they're cutting between like the monster and the humans are shot in the day and the monster's like shot at night, or like made to look like it's at night.
Yeah, the exposure is off everywhere.
It just like, I don't know, not, this is like not supposed to be offensive or whatever, but like it reminds me of how I felt when I watched Killer of Sheep.
Oh yeah, the Killers of Sheep. Yeah.
By Charles Burnett.
Maybe it's just yeah, but I've seen that.
The editing that is so crazy and so like all over the place. It's like so jarring. But that experience is just like so refreshing, like as a movie, because it's like his first movie. He's just kind of doing it. I don't know. I love that kind of.
I love first movies, like the looseness and the freedom that they feel. Like within the last like year, I've seen Blood Simple, the Coen Brothers first movie. I saw Hard 8, PTA's first movie. And there's this energy that's in them, and it's just really cool also to watch them and
see
then
their new stuff.
See what they would become. And Dogtooth for Yorgos, like one of his like really early ones, or maybe his first like
the first breakout movie for him.
Yeah. Where it's like, whoa, you can see where this is all going to go. And you watch them and you're like, I would put money on that guy or those people to do something, because you see the magic even in the parts that don't work so well. And I've got all of the thoughts I've got about all of them. And so part of me is like, man, I wish this, like, I don't know what happened after this, but it didn't like blossom into something, which is interesting. I think there's so much story to this that I want to know so much more. It's like, there needs to be a documentary on this for sure. Something about this story and this guy and what it was, because it's just such a very fascinating story, and it is done really well for what it is. The monster is great. Like, there's multiple different ways they show the monster, which is like they've got a big costume in the early Godzilla movie style, where it's like miniatures and big costume. He captures a girl at one point and he's literally holding a doll. Like, it's so obvious. Like, it's just hilarious in every way. And then there's also stop motion. Like, there's a stop motion little figurine that flies around and lands sometimes. And then there's a giant claw. Yeah. Like, they built a giant claw that they use to go into a couple different scenes and also to hold the damsel in distress. It's just, so much went into this. I'm also just like, where did they get the money to do this? Like, it's kind of wild. Because I remember back when I made my like first stupid things, it's like,
you weren't doing all that. I
could have never. No, I could never have done that. So I'm also just so curious on how it happened, because it's crazy. And it's cool though to give such young people the ability to do this. And I think it's what makes this rare, is that you don't get to see a lot of high schoolers do something this big. Like, what does it look like when you make a film that young, this large, and have the ability to do it this large?
Like, have all these toys and stuff.
Yeah, to have all of these things and to have
and you're shooting it on film.
It's kind of that's crazy. Like, limited Like, and I guess it makes a lot of sense. They're like, we only can do this
record
right
sound
now.
on set.
We can't do it again. Yes, exactly. It's just like, okay, that's why the lighting's bad.
Yeah.
That's why all these things,
Yeah.
you know, you see a boom in a shot or something like that. I saw that, but
they fucking did it, you know? Yeah.
They did it. And so that's, I'm proud of them.
Yeah, no.
It's pretty wild.
I was gonna say, like, I was almost half expecting someone from ILM to be like associated with this movie because of the Bay Area's history with this specific type of film and filmmaking style. Specifically the puppetry, the like comping in stuff. Like I was just, or all the costumes and everything. Like, I feel like there's a connection there in some ways. Yeah.
Because that's when the Bay Area was
for that,
like film. Yeah, and especially for special effects. Not too far away was obviously the ILM, and Star Wars would come out 1 year later.
Wow.
And so lots of these people. But you got to wonder, and then you have to just wonder too. Is it just like the magic in the what's in the water here? You got like literally all these people, and it's just like it just made true. It's got toxic sludge in it. That's what it really has. And then you almost like if it's like parallel, what's it called, like parallel evolution or something like that, where it's basically like you have like a dolphin and something else, and they look the same, but they're totally different. Like a shark, and it's like one's a mammal, one's a fish. But it's just it's the natural thing. Things kind of go.
Because I think at least, oh man, I wish I was more educated on this, but I feel like there is a old horror movie that was like made in the Bay Area. That kind of like set the tone or whatever. I can't remember. I can't remember. But it just feels like that's so crazy that Star Wars came after this, because you would think that would inspire this, but in a way that almost like affirms how influential 1950s like B movies were in terms of like influencing the next generation of filmmakers, and like how we see, Quentin Tarantino and like PTA and like kind of using not necessarily kaiju stuff, but like B movie aesthetics, if that makes sense.
I mean, definitely Star Wars took the, what was it called? Not Dick Tracy. What was there was like a really famous, Buck Tracy? Something
Buck Rogers.
That. Basically that. Buck. I'm pretty sure it's that, but basically like that kind of like serialized adventuring sort of thing, which is very B movie. It definitely fills that exact same space. We know that all of these people were intermingling, especially with like Roger Corman and stuff like that. All of this was piling on top of each other. And the B movies of the 50s were not that long ago. Like that's us like looking back at the early 2000s or the 90s right now as inspiration, which I absolutely
absolutely do.
Yeah, absolutely. Like there's good shit. So it's good to keep it in context like that too, of just like, this is like, it's really not that far to go back to see those things.
True.
I'm going to name there's some, KQED has 7 Bay Area horror movies that were made. I want to see if any of these pique your interest, but also it's just good to remember some of these classics. Cujo from 83. There's It Came From Beneath the Sea, which was 1955. That's like a big octopus. Having had its habitat in the Philippines destroyed by thermonuclear test, the poor, unfeasibly massive octopus arrives in the city and promptly goes berserk. Ooh, that sounds pretty cool. Squeezes the ferry building's clock tower to death. Wraps itself around the Golden Gate Bridge. That's cool. Burnt Offerings from 1976. Phantasm from 1979. The Birds. 1963. And The Fog from 80. Oh, and then one more, Invasion of the Body Snatchers from 78. So this was also like horror Bay Area. They were all kind of happening around this time.
Invasion of the Body Snatchers was what I was thinking of.
Yep, there you go. Yeah, 78. So that was just a couple years
That's so
afterwards.
crazy.
Yeah. But it also is a remake of the 50s movie.
Okay.
But yeah.
I mean, yeah, there was something in the water, right?
That's what it feels like without more knowledge. That's what it feels like. Like, I want to say it's so much more connected, and that someone from ILM came down, was at a bar or something like that, and they walked in like being like location scouting for their bar, and he's like, hey, you know what?
Sounds like an episode.
Yeah,
Bay Area 70s monster movies.
Yeah, Bay Area monsters.
Bay Area monsters.
Bay Area.
Dang, this is a fun little rabbit hole we've fallen into.
Yeah, I think I really, at first, I'll admit, was I wasn't mad or frustrated, but I was like, God damn, what did Kevin put on the list this time? What am I watching this time?
As always.
And then I was, and it wraps you in really fast, and it keeps you really interested. It has this. Could it have been shorter? Sure. Could it have been this? Sure. All of these things, but I was engaged, and I did actually enjoy it, and I want to watch it again under like really exciting surroundings and circumstances. So in the end, I will say thank you, Kevin, for doing it. You absolute freak. Total freak.
I mean, I think those are where we get the gems, like these conversations of like things that we'll never hear about or even like think about, but secretly have kind of an impact on history and legacy, and like kind of play into what we already talked about, like the Roger Corman stuff. Like I don't know if we've ever seen any kaiju movies for this, but
I don't think we have. No.
Yeah, I think it's on the list. But
know it is. Yes, I've got like different eras of Godzilla on the list.
Yeah,
sure. But just so many things, and even just like the original King Kong too. To think of like the American kaiju movie, because there's so much
to kind of, I don't know, because this is whatever, but there someone had pointed out that the Hollywood movies of today are based off of things that were B movies back then. So you like Marvel,
superheroes,
James Bond, kaiju movies, like Roger Corman type stuff. Like these are all what is popular now. Like Quentin Tarantino kind of being the art house version of all this too. Like the B movie aesthetic kind of has influenced en masse to become the blockbuster aesthetic,
it makes you wonder what's happening now that will be the thing later. That's always the ultimate question, is what is like looked at as like, that's
low art.
It's got to be, because first I'm like,
what do you think?
Vertical movies. I hate the idea, and it's awful, and or like these micro dramas or whatever. Like, but that's kind of more about the form, I guess.
I mean,
but I'm just
historically, it's taking from like telenovelas and like the kind of cheap soap operas and stuff. Yeah,
which has that
style.
Like, but how do you? I think David Lynch was the best like soap opera director, because his movies feel like soap operas, like especially Twin Peaks was like meant to be very soap opera-y. But even Mulholland Drive, like the acting in it is so like,
soap opera. Like, oh my gosh,
it's so soap opera. Like I'm in Hollywood.
It's so like played up and everything.
Yes. And so I think there's always a way to take these things and turn them into something exciting. You can always do, like, there's always going to be someone that turns like some shit into art. Like you can always do it. So I really wonder what will be the thing that's also just kind of like waiting to be.
What's the B movie of today?
What is the B movie of today? That's
Mumblecore.
Yeah. I mean, I do believe that mumblecore is just like it deserves a resurgence in some way. And it's always kind of like treated as like the ugly, I mean, not the ugly stepsister, but like just the, you do it to get to the other stuff, kind of.
Stepping
like
stone.
A lot of people's first movies are mumblecores. It's the kind of the stepping stone, which makes sense because it's more of a financial thing in a lot of ways. Yeah, what are the? I bet any people listening are probably like, "Oh, here's an idea." Right. So please put it in my mind right now.
Yeah. Yeah, because like
I got nothing.
I mean, I guess from a functionality standpoint, B movies were like played before real movies, and they were kind of just popcorn type stuff that was meant to like entertain before the actual kind of entree. So like, what is that for us? Maybe like television things or like, yeah, I guess verticals.
Yeah, it feels like that. It feels like that is the. Well, here's the thing: like vertical. Or, yeah, maybe. Like, do you remember Quibi?
Yeah, they tried.
They tried, and then what do you know? Now they were just years too early.
Yeah.
So, isn't that crazy? Like we all laughed.
And now people are
like
living
it was
off
so
of that.
Stupid. And now, yes, isn't that crazy? I would have never guessed.
It is crazy.
And so, yeah, that's what we're going to be hit by with other things
but
too.
This DP I worked with, he said, like verticals are an obsolete art form because it's so phone dependent. Like you can't like screen that in the theater. You can't like, you know, it is because we use this thing that it exists. You know, if it wouldn't exist in any other way, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know if that,
right?
If obsolescence is like the direction, like, cause like you think TV, that was like intended to be shown only on this box, never in the thing, because that's what
but the form still mimicked film.
Yeah, but it's always going like a degree away.
Sure.
Right? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, guess.
Like,
but there was still a way for TV to become what movies are. Like as we see today. Yeah. You couldn't
I see. So like no matter
a vertical
watch, they're going to have they're going to do it in the theater. They're going to put a vertical movie in a theater. You wait. Why not? Like it's like why you bring the curtains in a little bit more and they could. Like
I don't know,
I don't know. Like
it is interesting.
What happens when like I can't like here, I'll say it. I can't wait till we're watching a vertical cinematic masterpiece for this podcast. It will happen. It will happen.
I think
there will be something that is undeniably great one day. I think.
You know,
I would
because
the form doesn't like just because of the form doesn't mean it can't be good, right? Like that there can't be art, that there can't be emotion and depth and family. Like what? And here's well, now we're going on all these different paths, but like I'm thinking of clip culture, which is basically like what we live in now, which is like everyone's watching movie clips and things all over TikTok, all over Instagram Reels. Like that's you go through just like scenes. And they could be shot, and then you ask yourself, like people might ask me, like, "Well, I saw the scene, like or whatever," and it's like you could say as like a cinema lover, like you didn't actually see it because you lost the entire frame, you lost so much of the other cinematic language. But what does that mean? Like, does it? I don't know. There's so many things, and you got to just ask, like, what's the point of it all? The point to me is to make me feel deeply. And I think cinema has the highest ability to do so because it just envelops so many of your senses and it can just really get in you. It's so close to dreams, right? And I don't think cutting off the edges necessarily.
So I think yes, like from a formal standpoint, like film theory standpoint, yeah,
Mhm.
like the unique frame offers another kind of texture to this format that we call cinema, right? Like, I think it is an interesting experiment of what that like aspect ratio does to your movie, right? You're literally cutting off of
Yeah, it's
periphery.
great.
That could be an
Yeah.
interesting thing for you to explore as a filmmaker, like the
Yeah.
narrowing of your perspective, what that means for the character, for the story. You know, like you're not showing the whole image. You know what I mean?
You can really kind of only show one character at a time,
It
you know?
becomes,
What does
yeah,
that
it
do?
becomes very
Yeah.
intentional, right? Because of how small the
Yeah.
field of view is. I think that is really cool. And the DP that I was kind of mentioning, I think he had
Yeah.
made a vertical movie that does play with the form and like
Okay.
challenging what
Nice.
all these things are. And like, I forget how he
Yeah.
did it, but like the way that Memento is using editing to like cut off information and give you information. I feel like
Oh, that's a cool way to think of it too. Is like, what are you leaving
exactly.
out?
I
Yeah, I
think
like that.
this thing does offer a unique, like, kind of thematic whatever.
Yeah.
But
this is what I've been waiting for, the but. All right. Well, but.
And so, you know, I've had this conversation with this DP, like asking all these questions. The but with this thing is that, again, I guess I've said this already, but like this conversation does not exist without a phone, like us using a phone and like being on this thing. And I think when, I don't know, from a like structuralist standpoint, from like a I don't know, like a semiotics or whatever, I forget, I don't know what perspective this is, but like,
okay. I also don't,
but so. Like the form that it's being displayed through, the way that you are experiencing it through inherently changes like what your relationship with this thing in a lot of ways. And that's what they kind of say about television, that like you're never going to get the same as cinema because from an industry standpoint, it's made differently. You budget for it differently. You act in it differently. Like there's different techniques at every stage of the process that it could never, you know, from a spiritual whatever, could never mimic cinema, you know, because it's made from a different like goal and everything. And I think when you look at verticals, at least for now, in the context that we kind of experience it,
I know. Hey, we'll have to come back in a year and see.
Like until a major shift goes or whatever, like I think the expectations of what this thing is and what as an audience you want out of it, I don't know if you're good. Like if you watched a cinematic vertical, would you even give a fuck? Like would it hit you? Would it like connect with you? Or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
I think what we're also kind of getting at with this conversation is like what it means to watch something on a phone. Like how like so much of the world is happening around you and you're kind of like looking at it like this, like you're looking down at it, you're doing all these things and notifications are coming up and there's words all over the screen and a like button and all of these things. Like it's not a movie theater where it's black and you are enveloped in this thing. Like it has a higher bar to think. Now I've seen plenty of things on Instagram or TikTok or whatever, and I've cried. Like a lot of times, like you look at things in the world and stuff like that. So it's like, it's not that it doesn't have the ability to make you feel, but it is just different. And the way you interact with the phone is different. And I wonder like the speed of cinema, if we want to say something on that too, like, does that work on a phone? Like, I don't know. I certainly haven't felt like it does. People speed up like they like cut great
Yeah.
things like to make them even faster, which is
Yeah.
crazy. Or like they add like motion blur and like 60 frames a second to some things that didn't
Right.
have that. And we're going to get to like, who knows what kind of AI stuff you'll be able to do to these things. And it's just going to be, it's just warping it
Right.
completely. Is that cinema?
All right.
No.
All right.
Right?
To get really crazy, they say
Cool.
there's like studies that say we don't have long-term memory anymore, or because of phone use.
Awful.
That like we can't remember large chunks of time because so much of our existence is like through this thing. And that like our short-term memory is always being engaged. And then going back to this theater experience and like how you experience movies, I feel like that is the antithesis of what cinema is, is like, you want attention retention, like through this art form and experience and stuff. Like you want to kind of basically close off those distractions and everything. Like I think being on the phone warrants like this kind of quick instant gratification kind of thing,
And as soon as you're bored, you swipe.
Exactly.
As soon as the scene slows down, whoop. If they haven't caught you within, what is it?
Seconds.
They say like 1 second. Yeah, it's like unbelievable how fast you have to catch someone. So it has to be, you're talking a totally different language, right? And that's why it's like not totally, you can't just make a movie in the clips and it be like really that engaging. There will be parts of the movie that are more interesting. They get more views or whatever. Like think about that. If you could just like, if you only watch like the action scenes, oh my God. Gosh. I mean, talk about, we're living in an apocalypse.
Oh man, what did I? Oh, it's like, sports, going back to sports. So they have this thing in the NFL called NFL Red Zone. Do you know about this?
I feel like maybe you told me about this on another episode, but remind me again. I don't.
So NFL Network has this show called NFL Red Zone, and basically, it's the original promise was like commercial-free football all day long for Sunday. So they would basically screen anytime a team was like about to score, they would like jump to that game and like talk about that game and show the thing happening live. And so they would have this thing called like the quad screen with like 4 games happening at once, 4 teams that were like in the end zone. And so a lot of like media studies people talk about how this changed like our relationship with like understanding football and like it becoming a faster paced thing and wanting it to be more energetic and like a lot of editing and stuff, and how that leads into like how people consume sports today with like YouTube highlights and clips and like only watching the highlights and all these things, right? And so a lot of people, like older veterans, retired players, they're saying like, oh, new players don't watch like games. Like new players don't watch the NFL or the NBA. Like
the players in
college,
the NFL?
Yeah, like new younger players or like college players like don't watch the NBA.
Whoa.
And it's like, what are you talking about? Like,
that's crazy.
So there is like a depreciation of like appreciation, like like people not caring about the craft and the art form and the history and the discipline of it, I feel like you get that with movies today in some sense.
I was about to say, like, I bet there are plenty of directors out there that we have seen and know more about movies than they do. Because that's not a prerequisite to being these things. just like playing in the NBA doesn't necessarily, you don't have to sit in front of a TV and watch. You just have
Be
to
good.
play the game and be good at it or whatever. Like there's other qualities. Right. It's just kind of crazy when you find out like, oh, this person's never heard of this movie. Like in like an interview, it's like, what?
Like this is your job.
This is what you do. You're supposed to be the professional. I'm supposed to be the idiot.
Exactly.
Let's Freaky Friday this shit.
It is just like, I guess talking more too about like the money involved and like the impacts of like what that means. But I don't know. I don't know how much this relates to this, but like kind of jumping forward into the sports thing. There's this one author who wrote this book about football, and he's talking about how like the form of the way we experience the sport on television like becomes the way we understand the sport, if that makes sense.
Makes sense to
like
me. Totally.
The way the lines are and like
and we're right now at a point where betting on it is how you will interact with it. And so they're going to think about it in terms of that too.
They talk about that and how that is changing our relationship with the sport. And like we used to cheer for teams and now we cheer for the individuals. Players. And like if they're getting a thing, we don't care about the consequences of the game. We're talking about the consequences of the plays and the possessions and like all these things. It's so crazy. But then he's within football, he's talking about like it whenever they pass, there's a split second where you don't see the ball, and there's like this moment of suspense before they catch it or they don't catch it or it's intercepted or whatever, and that playing with like our sense of drama and like our innate sense of like will it, won't they kind of thing. And then he also points out that football, when you look at a television broadcast, it's about 3 hours of television, and there's only on average about 11 minutes of actual sport being played.
Wow.
That's slow cinema.
That's crazy.
Like that.
Yeah.
That's how cinema works. It's like the framing of this action, to make it.
And it's surrounded by all of this other stuff that is not, it's not clippable, let's say,
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so people were like, on the thing about clips and highlights and all these things, like imagine if you showed a person only the chorus of a song, showed them a bunch of songs, but only the hooks. Would they know anything about like what a song is or what music is, like that's what we're doing to all these things.
Oh, that's such a good point. And now I see like there's a real difference between like, will verticals naturally create cinema or versus what I was kind of thinking at first, which is like, there's nothing wrong with the vertical form itself. Like that doesn't stop cinema, but the actual what verticals do doesn't really, when you like think about it, at least currently, can't create that. So there is something, it's like the creature itself is also like evolving in a way that really discourages any slowing down or thinking on things. You wonder, I think one thing that just pops in my head is like, I think it was like during the pandemic, or maybe they still have this. I'm just not really on social media anymore, but like you'd be scrolling or something like that. And then there were intentional posts that people would make of being like, hey, take a breath or relax, or be like a really peaceful place or something like that. Like this is to cleanse your timeline. That's like what they would say. Right. And you wonder, like, that almost feels like you have to look at the slower parts of a movie and see it in that way, where it's like, it's the oasis. It's the resting place before you get back in it again. So that's something where I could see verticals doing that in a way that is kind of like that, where it's like you frame it differently. And I think even people, I think we're going to, this is me with my fingers crossed, I think people are going to see more of like the what social media can do and how it's melting your brain, and that there is like okay, it'd be good for me to do something different or to have some other thing. That if we frame the way we look at social media and like interacting with videos, like I think that does have an opportunity to create something.
I mean, there are people who will do like short skits stuff and like post it on Instagram or like TikTok or whatever. And that kind of being a new form of like narrative, whatever. But it, you know, in a lot of ways, it's just like a regurgitated like sitcom television in a lot of ways. But I could see, you know, in this sort of artful way, like creating an Instagram account that posts like different scenes in this format, and like it's almost created in a way that is atemporal and non-linear and like has somewhat of a narrative but no narrative, and that you could see the scenes in any order, like with the algorithm, you know, like and it would still make sense, or it would give you an experience.
Is that the most is that the most unsatisfying thing ever?
I mean,
like, would that?
I don't know.
Like part of me is like, damn, that just like, it certainly isn't what we would like.
I feel like
what we would think of, but it is, yeah, and it feels like it's the one way to make some like art, you know, and like make something really interesting versus just like a part 170 of this vertical drama or whatever like that. These verticals, so
just like making a 15-second art piece that just exists as its own thing, like water on the on the horizon, like with the waves, and then someone doing a voiceover, and then another one's like a dialogue scene between two characters, and then another one is like a memory of something. I don't know, you know, just like all these different things.
Yeah. And I bet in a way people could have, if you really discourage like watching it in any order, you know, people would have their own interpretations in the Kuleshov effect way of like what there's something about like if we watched Yee Yee and all the clips were mixed up, like what movie would we see? You know, there's something that's a very interesting exercise, is watching a movie in clips all
jumbled up,
around.
The milkshake method.
The jumble movie. Yeah. Ooh, the milkshake method. I like that. Milkshake movies.
Yeah.
Ooh. Whoa.
Yeah.
That's an interesting exercise.
I mean, it does beg the question, right, of like this impact on the way we understand art and whatever. Yeah. The schism of everything and the breaking down of like individual elements and like, what does that mean for the whole movie? You know, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It is interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. And then what is like the predominant media anyways on social media will always be like what people film of of life. So that like naturally is where this kind of lives. So that's an interesting thing too on what that kind of says and how that controls it.
Oh,
but
fuck.
This is for much smarter people than us, Kevin. We are really...
That would be really fucking crazy. Like making a whole movie on your phones. Like every character is using their phone. Every character has an Instagram account and is like posting stuff and like tagging everybody else.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
You got to play. That's what you got to do, is you got to play with. And I think that's how, like, we're talking about like making B movies more or something like that. Like that's what this is like taking what is like kind of like the swamp of all of this stuff. It's just mush, basically. There's so much stuff. How do you turn it into a story or art or something? And I think doing that and how we interact with it is important. I think that's cool.
It's interesting. I'll never do it, but it sounds cool.
No, exactly. It's like I don't got enough love for that.
No.
Like for the actual, that's for someone that really understands social media, I think.
Because
and that will come though, Because I think especially with younger people that have been much more absorbed by it, they're going to want to break out of it and tell stories about it.
Yeah, I feel like this is a chicken or the egg conversation of, because I agree with, like, to me, I can see how that would progress because I value the language of cinema. And I feel that is the end point of like art progression, right? But I think to some extent, when you look at YouTube and like where it has brought us and streaming and like all these things,
and what it encourages, like it's trying to make money, so it encourages a certain type of thing.
I generally feel like the people who are interested in verticals are not gonna make something that's cinematic, or will eventually go against what cinema, because of what it's asking you. Maybe, and like all these things. I just like maybe I have an analyst perspective on this. Like I want there to be something cool within that space. I just feel like you don't get that space, doesn't breed people who will think like that, and will make something like that. Because to affirm that standpoint, I love cinema. Like I love movies. I love what the art form does. It's like the theater experience. Like I love everything about this specific thing the way it is now. I get that things change and will evolve and we have to, but whatever. I still believe in the cinema, Yeah.
And it's totally like these people like you watched a lot of movies. They watched a lot of verticals. And so they might always think like that. And they might always think like, oh, this is how it's supposed to be. This is
the rules.
What it is. I mean, that's the changing from like things into everything is content now. Like it's such a degrading when when was it Max, when it was Max or whatever, they made Martin Scorsese
content creator.
The content creator of like Goodfellas. Like it was his content. And it's just like, what a world. It's such a devaluing of it, especially when there's so much stuff out there. It hurts. And so, it's interesting why Letterboxd, for example, like is popular right now. What is that? And people have a lot of things to say about it. Like people, it doesn't really like, are these really movie lovers or is it just like another way to express yourself? And that's just one way to do it.
Because I think there are multiple factions on Letterboxd. There are people who like take movies seriously, and then there's people who like, do it kind of for funsies. And there is, I feel like, a huge debate within the community, within the Letterboxd community, because they recently added like a bunch of television stuff, and people were like pretty upset about that. Like,
it feels like it's a natural place it will go.
Yeah, like it kind of has to in terms en masse, right? But I think in terms of like what is Letterboxd and what does it stand for? What is it supposed to mean? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, are vertical dramas are micro dramas going to end up on there? Like every episode you can rate. Like, I mean, IMDb kind of does that. Like they've got the entire slew of stuff. Maybe they don't have micro dramas, but you can rate each and every episode of a TV show. They've got all of the things where Letterboxd has always been so clearly film or miniseries.
Well, now they have full TV shows like you can follow and stuff. It's not broken down into episodes, I don't think yet, but yeah. I mean, it's like I was gonna say, my visceral reaction to the word content creator. Whenever I hear those words in the wild,
are one of those.
I have to bite my fucking tongue. I don't mind like the umbrella term existing, but I think when people are like relating it to a thing, I don't know. Actually, no qualification. It makes me cringe whenever I hear that term. I'm like, please don't call me that. Like,
I think what I dislike about like content creators, it also has like nowhere to go. Like everyone's a content creator and there's no like thing to achieve. And I mean, people were called artists back in, and you could be any sort of kind of artist, I guess. but it's just there's something about it, but it just like
it's a devaluation, like you said. Yeah,
exactly.
it's
Yeah, it
cheapening.
is like yeah, because content is like has even more as we continue to capitalize media more and more and more and more. This is like the ultimate form of like ads between every 15 seconds, like of this sort of material, and it's just so like it's about money. And now it's just even more about money than it ever was even before. And so when you're making content, people make content and they don't even like the thing. Like I see sometimes like ads where they're like, I'll show you how to have like a $2,000 a month YouTube channel. And it's like, you're like someone to do that would mean that they basically have to make a channel on something they don't necessarily care about. And they just want to do it for money. And that's what I think of content creation. It's just like they're just doing things to make money for the most part. End. There certainly are other people. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not like I have this innate expression I must put into this form and only this form. And it doesn't feel like a calling or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what, to be sort of cheesy about it, that's what this podcast feels like to me. It's like, it just feels like a natural, like,
sure,
this is what, for me on a personal level, I wanted to do. I wanted reasons to watch more movies and to talk about them because I feel like it also just like selfishly makes
fuck. I guess we are.
It might. No, I'm not going to say that, but I'm just trying to say that we're doing it. We're doing something that we love. That's the difference. It's like you're doing
it's a vocation
in a direction because you feel there's this propulsion within you to do it and to create and so
like it's not this is a capitalistic thing to do.
It doesn't feel that way. I mean, we're getting our $50,000 check I think tomorrow. So after that,
from all our sponsors.
Yes, exactly. And we're going to be talking about movies and be like, I love that new Marvel movie. That was actually the best movie ever made.
So great.
That'll be what the whole channel is, and the whole podcast is like. Is this better than Yi? And it's like Shang-Chi 2. Actually, Shang-Chi 2 maybe. I don't know. That I felt like I just went. I could have gone for something even more bottom of the barrel. Doctor Strange.
Shang-Chi was pretty bad.
I know. I didn't. I mean, I just don't like the Marvel movies, but
I despise.
I want to get Yeah, it has potential. I hate all this shit. I don't care.
You don't have
to
say
care. I stopped myself from saying it. Okay, that's the best I can do. I stopped. Fuck it. Oh, I hate it. What are we doing?
What are we doing? Fucking it up.
What are we doing?
As I go watch Avatar 3.
Oh, is that the plan?
I feel like I should at some point.
Yeah,
I need to use my.
You want to hear something that like I watched Avatar 2 and I actually really enjoyed it. I really want to watch Avatar 3, but I don't like have any urge to see it in the theater. Because I enjoyed it just as much on my TV with, I don't know. But that's also maybe that's the most insulting thing I could ever say. But you know what? I'm not a James Cameron
freak
guy. So yeah, he hasn't earned my vote yet.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Better than a Marvel movie.
Whatever. Yeah. Oh,
is my
100%.
standard.
100%. 150%. Yeah. No question there. Absolutely.
And I have an AMC pass, so I need to use it. Yeah.
Oh, sure. The propulsion within you. Oh, wait.
I mean, it is interesting. I mean, I don't know. I feel like I have two sides of me. It is interesting. The two wolves live inside me.
Yes.
Like going to watch all the new box office stuff, like the blockbuster stuff, and then going to the Roxy or going to Bamfa and watching all those movies.
It's an important, I think it's an important part of being a well-rounded
cinema,
thing.
Yeah, because it is so encompassing. This business and art form and everything. Yeah.
which means we got to watch even more crap.
I mean, I think we do need to do a better job of watching crap, watching, you know, not art house stuff.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, we certainly do. There certainly is so much more of that than there is of the art house stuff. So, but I feel like in the real
I feel like there's still ways we can make that interesting or like have a conversation, you know?
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. We just talked for an hour about what I read online was a grade Z quality film. And this is what, this is what it is. I'm
halfway through. I was like, that's it. 30-minute episode. And then
we were hitting minute 22. I'm like, wow, this is actually going to go really fast. And then we bounce around. We got to that's the beauty of it.
After the 45-minute mark, I was like, what episode is this again? You're like blacked out.
The Milpitas monster. Crazy. Well, that's the beauty of wine, reel, and print.
The conversation just goes.
Yeah. Well, how about that for an ending? You happy?
Yeah, that was great. Good combo.
All right. Well, folks.
That's a wrap.
See you next time. That's a wrap. Bye. Wind Reel and Print is a podcast by Salad Brain Productions.
You can find us on Instagram at Wind Reel and Print Pod.
You can also find us wherever you get your podcasts.
And please, if you like the show, leave a rating and review. We'll see you next time.